Morning.
Morning.
How's it going?
All good.
Yeah?
We
Nice.
are back again.
Yeah,
Our
we're
beautiful
back.
Mike is back again.
The MacGyver mic.
Nice.
Very cool. So episode 3
Yes.
already. And last time we left off with our project for the ones just joining in this episode, where we code a virtual bookshelf application in the spirit of like a as quick as possible but full stack prototype. We're using plain React in a Vite setup. We're running Supabase that we set up last time. And we left it off with being able to read the amazing amount of 2 individual books into our app that we can display already in the place of our static JSON content from before. Yes. What are we doing today, Judith?
Yes. So as you said, this is kind of what our app looks like right now. So we are just fetching the books. But yeah, now we are managing to fetch it from the database and not just from our mock JSON file. And we have this button here which does nothing. And I think that's the goal for today. To make this button do something and be able to add a new book and write it to our Supabase database as well. So
Nice.
we have our books table where we have, as you said, 2 books right now, and we can read from the database, but so far we're not writing to it. So now we want to be able to add a new book. So it will be like a lot of form stuff today, which can sometimes be a bit tricky. Yeah, but I think
Awesome.
we'll figure it out.
Cool. So, and you also suggested since forms are tricky, I think that's how the documentation for the form component in this library that we're going to use actually starts. So we have this,
Right.
how do you pronounce this? Shadcn or
I
something?
think it's Shadzian. I even Googled it if there's a pronunciation guide, but it seems to be Shadzian. I don't really know why.
Cool.
Yeah, so it's a component library, but the difference to other component libraries is that you don't install it as an NPM package, for example, but you just basically copy paste the components that you need. So there is a command line interface which does that for us, but essentially that's all it does, just copy the code into our own repository. And what I like about it is that it's like super sleek and minimal, and it integrates really nicely with Tailwind. So it comes with a bunch of components, and as you can see out of the box, it's really quite plain and just like black and gray and yeah, rather minimalist, I would say. But then it integrates with Tailwind. You can customize it to your needs and like add your own brand colors or whatever.
Nice. And at least the form package also comes with stuff React people might know or
Yes.
not, but it's like the popular choice of React Hook Form.
Yeah.
Right? Like a couple helpers to validate your form on the client side. There's also Zod to set up the schema.
Exactly.
And so, I mean, this is not necessarily only prototyping land. Right? Like you could build something real with this, right?
Definitely. I would say React, Hook Form, and Zod are super popular for even production level applications. So yeah, I think it's nice to use it.
Amazing.
Yeah, so I
Cool.
think that would be a good choice. So yeah, maybe we start with that, adding the components from Shadzian that we need. So I would say we need the button. So right now our button is just like a plain text button, so maybe we can replace it. So this is kind of what the syntax looks like.
That's what you do.
Yeah.
npx shadcnui add button.
I will show you what that does.
Awesome. I'm very curious.
So it
Installing
says
button.
installing button, but all it did is add this button TSX file to a folder. So the default folder is component/UI. And then in
That's so
here,
cool.
you just have the source code. So you can even, if for some reason you need to customize it further, you can do it. So that's really
Right.
all it does.
All right. And so there's a couple of interesting choices in there too. It's using class variance authority
Yes.
to do what? To provide different styling variants of the same button. Cool. I can see that's already standard Tailwind stuff on their color
Exactly.
scheme. And there's a default button. There's a destructive button. I suppose that's the red one. Outline, secondary, ghost, and just the link. Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool.
And now we should be able, I think, to just replace this plain button with this Shadzian button. So that should be the right one.
Yeah.
There's the import. Ooh, huge.
Bam!
It's there.
Yeah, we can
Bit
work
large,
on the
but
styling a little bit later.
yeah.
Hey, and is this like a HTML button element now? Like a very common problem I have so many times is I want this button to actually be an anchor tag. Instead of an HTML, because it's supposed to be a link or whatever. We actually don't even have that problem today, but it's I'd be curious if
I
you
think it
can.
should. Yeah. So right now it's a button, as you can see
But the
here.
docs say you can just import button variants and then chuck that onto the class name prop of a link. So that's their way.
Oh.
Like, I think you can just grab button variants, variant outline, and kind of put that onto a class name of whatever element. Like, please only do it on interactive stuff. But so that's cool. All right.
Yeah. We also have the type. So you can say, for example, it's type button or submit. So sometimes when you have a form, the button has to be of type submit. We can add a title as well, which I think is sometimes useful for accessibility purposes, especially if you have like an icon button, which doesn't have any text. So
Perfect. Yeah.
Cool. That's that. And yeah, let's continue maybe just adding one or two more components. So we need the form.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I don't know, I guess we're gonna display it in a dialog when we click the button.
Yes. Cool. So they also have a dialogue in
They have a dialogue.
and it animates in a fancy way. Where
is it?
Coolio.
So I can install two at the same time.
Installing form, installing label, dialogue.
Nice.
So cool. And it just chucks all of that stuff into your components folder.
Exactly. So it's in my components folder. Sometimes I think it adds some packages to your package JSON if the component needs it. So now, for example, it already added the hook form resolvers, which means I guess we can use Zod. So it automatically installed Zod for us because I guess the form component uses it. And Shadcn, I believe, is a wrapper around Radix UI, which is like a React component library. So yeah, it installed some of those as well, but it will do that automatically for you.
Hey, there's also a thing, Tailwind CSS animate. awesome. Like it's yeah, we worked with Radix before.
Hmm.
Um, that is really just the bare bones, like all the annoying parts, like everything accessibility, tab,
Yeah,
focus, YARF, but you get nothing styled out of it. So I
yeah,
guess that's where Shadcn comes in to give
exactly.
you something. It looks very Vercel style, right? Like we use Vercel all the time
Yeah,
for hosting purposes, and I feel like I'm in Vercel land.
yeah. I don't know if Vercel is somehow involved, if they, I don't know, pay for it or something, or if it's the other way around and Vercel just uses Shadzian.
Yeah,
Um,
that's also possible. Okay, cool.
yeah, cool.
Um, all right, so we have a dialogue,
Yeah.
uh, we have a form, we have a
Mhm.
label, and we have a button.
Yeah,
That sounds good.
that sounds good. Let's start by opening a dialog, I would say, with just some dummy text when we click the
Okay,
button, right? And
okay,
then once we have
I'll
that,
try,
we will
okay?
add form. Yes,
Yeah?
I will
Okay,
try to.
so question number one, where do I put it? I just put it in our app for now?
For
Or do
now,
I,
I would probably clean it up later a little bit and move it to its own component, just to not
because we're
throw up.
gonna import some stuff, right?
Yes. So,
No, let's make a new component. Come on,
yeah,
like I mean, we're good developers, right?
true.
Um, and so am I making am I making a dialogue component? Probably, right? Like I'm not making a add new book component. I'm making a dialogue component and then an add new book component?
Hmm. I
Or
mean,
am I
it's
maybe I'm
not
just
really a dialogue. I mean, it is a dialogue, but it is a dialogue for adding books. So
let's do the specific thing. Add book TSX. Yoink. Here we go.
nice.
All right.
There we
And
go.
so all right. So I mean I'm also looking at the documentation and I'll
Yes.
just go ahead and do this. Like grab stuff,
Yes.
right? And then what?
Exactly.
I go export default functions, uh, add book stuff, return uh dialogue, I suppose.
Hmm.
Or like probably returning a dialogue. Okay, and so they say we have to have the dialogue trigger inside of the dialogue. So our
So that's a
dialogue
bit
trigger,
tricky, right? So I'm
yes,
also looking at the doc. So I guess what we could do is just move this dialogue content part into its own component, because
yeah,
our dialogue trigger will be the button, which is in a different component.
exactly.
So I
So
guess we will have like this part, the dialogue itself and the trigger in our app
yeah,
component, and then the dialogue content we can move to its own component, which we called add book.
yes. Okay.
Cool.
So in that case, I'm probably moving some of the imports. So like if we're making the dialogue kind of the wrapper, I don't know, I'm gonna get it from our components folder. Like you can see that they totally picked up the naming from Radix, right? Like
Yeah.
it's suggesting all of the imports. Oh, you don't see it on your screen, but like it's on my screen, it tells me you can import dialogue now from Radix directly / React
Right.
dialogue
Yeah.
or from components UI dialogue.
True.
So
That's a bit tricky, actually. I noticed that in the past. So yeah, you have to be a little bit careful, I would say, to import the correct component. So most of the time, you would want the one from your local components UI folder.
yes. Okay, so I'm gonna grab import um, dialogue from our components folder. So we have it. And then, well, is I'm gonna just stick the entire button in the dialog trigger, I suppose.
Yes.
Dialog trigger. Here we go. Yank the button in there. So, and then, well, then it's gonna be our add book component here.
Exactly.
So this is more or less how it goes, but I think I messed up stuff. I messed up some
Yeah.
stuff.
You're probably missing.
What did I miss?
So it's saying we must have one parent element, but we have like a single div enclosing everything, right? This one here with our books.
Yeah, right? Ew. Something else seems to be wrong. Oh, I think oops. Oh God. I think my auto tag closing. Oh yeah. VS Code plugin.
Nice.
Okay. So is the dialog trigger? Oh, it's also in here. So cool. I
You
love
should
named
also be
exports this way.
able, like if you have a missing import like this one,
Yeah.
on my keyboard it's command and then a full stop, and it will suggest the auto import. I don't know if it works.
Awesome. That is so cool. Hold on. So I'm gonna. Okay. All right. So we have our stuff here.
Mm-hmm.
And okay. So in here, like back into our add book thing, we're not gonna
Exactly.
have the entire dialogue or the triggered. So let's yank that out. And we're gonna return on the top level the dialogue content.
Content, right?
So let's say hi
Let's say hi for now.
and see what it does. Like,
Yes.
do you think it's supposed to do something already?
It says hi.
No.
And look, it's like auto
And
closing and stuff. Now this is
it
the real
has
test.
focus
Can I
states
press
on the.
escape? I can press escape. I'm so happy.
Oh man.
Yes,
I mean,
that's it.
for web developers watching, you know this is horrible stuff. Like to animate a dialogue element in and out, and to have accessibility right and escape keys. Like, of course you can do all that, but it's just super horribly annoying boilerplate shit. So, okay. Well, then
Cool. That was nice.
that was very nice. I mean, but I just realized that I'm not even using all this stuff. We have dialogue title, header, and description.
Right.
Okay.
You can use that. So from the
Dialogue
docs,
title.
it looks like the header would wrap around the title and the description.
Oops. Good. Header. Awesome. Let's grab that and put it around the title and say, add a new book. Oh,
Cool.
all
I
right.
don't know if we need a description actually.
Is the description add a new book? Let's see what I mean, is the dialogue description the part that we stick the form into? Or
I
is that
don't
actually,
think so.
so that is like literally a description?
I think it's literally a description.
You can add a new book through this form. Enjoy. So, oh. So we have this. And then, okay,
Nice.
so then if this is not what it's going to, like if we're not going to stick the form in the description, then I'll just put something here, something to see how it looks. Sorry, like it's through this live session, the plugins are behaving weirdly. What does
Let's
this
see
look like now?
what that looks like. It's cute. I
Yeah.
like it. This is the Shadzian description. That makes sense, I guess.
Yeah. Awesome.
Nice.
I think that looks super pretty. Definitely. Okay. Then
Let's give it a form.
Awesome. Okay.
Cool. Yeah, I would say again, let's just start with the demo code from Shadzian and kind of customize it to our book use case. So forms are tricky. They are right about that.
That's what it says, right? So what we want is a form that has all the fields from our schema in the database.
Yes.
Like not ID, but all the other fields.
Yes.
And we want them to match if they're optional or not.
Exactly.
Right. And they can correspond to the type. So if it's a number, then it would be cool if you're on your phone and it pulls up the number keyboard, for example, stuff like this, right?
Right. Yeah, that would be
nice.
Nice.
From a UX perspective, that you get the integer keyboard right away. Cool. One thing after the other.
Yeah. Why don't we do what they tell us to do?
Yeah.
This looks nice. So
let's add a form here.
Yeah.
Form.
So I think they provide you with a hook.
They provide you with a hook. So, but first of all, like we have this wrapping element of form,
Yeah.
right? Oh, and I have to install that. Add import from, I'm doing the command full stop thing, and that's very cool.
Nice. I can't see it when you do that, but it's
so
good
sad.
to know that it's working.
Okay, but so we have a form, and then we want a form field. Also importing that from our components folder. Form field is gonna have a name. I don't know. I think we have title.
Yeah.
And then, oh no, it's not like this. So a form field has a form item. That's the next thing it has. And a form item has a form label. All right, that also makes sense to me. Form label. Oh, form label is self-closing. All right, so that's just its thing. And I know it's of course not self-closing because we're going to say book title. Like that's what we're asking for.
Yeah.
So we have the label, and then we have a form control.
Yes, and I think that's probably where the schema becomes important.
Yes, so yeah, I'm just chucking in what I think will be the rough structure.
Yeah.
So now I'm wondering if in here, if I just go like regular HTML,
Mhm.
input, like in type text or, like book title. Or how does this go now? So first of all, okay, so I gotta form field. I gotta close the form field too. Let's close the form field.
Mhm.
And then I have to import Control2 and form label. We have all the stuff.
And
Okay.
form item, I guess.
Oh, form item. Yes, absolutely. Form item 2. Took away my form control. There's weird stuff happening in this live share session. Anyway, so okay, we got
Nice.
it now. And now it's complaining about stuff.
Let's see. Yes, so I think this is now where we are probably missing the actual form. Yes, so we need to
Oh, you know
pass
what?
with the form element, I think.
Also, I'm doing it wrong. Like the form item that should come out of a render function inside of the form field.
Ooh.
So that goes like that destructures a field. Okay. And then returns what we had before. And then we can just go like this, I suppose. So we have it.
Mhm.
Yeah, and now it's complaining that I'm not using the field.
Yeah,
That makes sense
that
because
makes
that's
sense.
supposed to be spread out. Oh, I'm not even giving the input a type. Like in their documentation, it looks like the input is a component itself. And I'm not sure where that's coming from right now, but I'm just going to spread my field in there anyway.
I think that's just another Shadzian component.
Oh, yeah, they have it,
so
of
we
course.
are actually still missing that one. So that looks something like that. Let me just add that, and then you can import that as well.
Nice.
Cool. Done.
Perfecto. So, okay, so then I'm going to grab that. That probably went somewhere else now, right? Like that's not in form. That's
Yeah, that should just be in UI input, I guess.
awesome. So,
Nice.
yeah. All right. And I can go input. And then I'm not even giving it a type. I can, like it says, I can have a placeholder.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Hitchhiker's Guide to Galaxy. And here we go. And then I spread my field in it. Cool. In their docs, they also have a control attribute. And that seems to come out of the use form hook.
Yes, exactly. I think that's what we need next to get the form element.
Okay. So I'm going to do const form, use form.
Mm-hmm.
But that to me seems like I'm getting it directly from React hook form.
Yes, that's right.
Okay. Import. Add missing import. Okay, so we have it. And then we can go on the form field at the control prop and then select form. All right. I mean, I'm just following what they tell me to follow here.
Exactly.
So now we have this wrapping form element that seems to be unhappy with something.
I think that also wants to have the form. So I think you spread the form into form.
I do like this, just like that, like yank
Does
it in
like
there.
that? No. Let's check again.
Yeah, no, it does. I think it took a second, but it seems to be happy now.
Nice.
Cool. Can we see now what happened? Like,
sure. Let's check.
Gasp.
Nice, I guess.
And so, like, I mean, if we wanted to have a button now to stay super simple, are we putting that in the form field as well? Or
I think so, because I guess that would then be a type submit button, right? So let's maybe check again. Yeah, so they have a button in here in the example. And yeah, that's inside of the form. Ooh, that's also interesting. So they are using the Shadcn form component, but then also the HTML form component, I guess, to use the onSubmit function. Yeah. But for now,
let's add that, sure. Like, okay, so first of all, let's grab a button. Let's import our friend from button. Give it a type of submit for good measure. Add book to library. Be super explicit. So then you yank all of that out here.
Yeah.
Give it like a regular form. I don't know. We're in React land. I don't know if we'd be in Remix, or frameworks like that. We could probably stick with the regular action thing, but here we'll do the dance we all know and love.
Yes.
Right? Like we're gonna have a function. It's called what? Like handle form submit.
Yes.
Right?
Exactly.
Something like that. And we're gonna log our event, because that's at least what I always do as a first step to see if anything's doing any. Yeah. Okay.
Good start.
Okay, good. And the form submitted. All right.
Nice. Let's see what we are logging.
And doing.
Button cannot appear as a descendant of button. That's meta, but I guess.
Are we sticking a button in a button? Somehow?
Doesn't look like it to me.
Does it, you know?
Let's see what it's rendering.
Yeah, let's check the DOM. That's kind of, I'm actually kind of curious what, like, you know, what happened now that we stuck all of that stuff into each other. So we have, there is a button in a button.
But that's not our form button, right? It's about this button we have on the main app page. Ooh, I think the dialog trigger itself is a button,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I think so. So we could try just removing the button around add new book.
All right. So, I mean, in that case, um, let's see what happens. So we're just gonna take out the button. What does that look like now? Nothing. Okay, so that's at least what I expected. So now we can do like what they did with the link styling,
And now it
right?
all makes sense.
Yeah. Isn't it nice? Well, it all makes sense. So we can probably grab the how'd it go? Button variants now. Button variants and then go, so that's a function and that accepts a variant and what are the variants? Primary, I guess, is our one. Primary. Okay, hold on, I gotta import button variants. Oops. Yeah. All right.
Nice. It's
What it
complaining
says.
about something. You can't do primary. I guess it would be default instead of primary.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, that is very nice. I mean, this is also something to notice that it automatically uh, integrates with our TypeScript stuff.
Yes.
I like that a lot.
Okay, the button is back to being massive, but the warning is gone. Ooh, more errors. A component is changing an uncontrolled input to be controlled.
Ooh, that is the stuff that everybody's always afraid of, right?
I
When dealing
remember
with
that warning.
forms. Okay, I'm centering the button as a
Nice.
distraction to our actual handle.
Yes.
Um,
Let's not deal with the form.
okay, cool. So we're having an uncontrolled hmm. I
hmm,
guess I was hoping that this control render function would do that.
right. Let's Google the error message or ask Copilot about it. So, what does it say? A component is changing an uncontrolled input to be controlled. Let's see.
So we're spreading the form into the form. We do have form control on the form field. Have the item when we're spreading the field into the input as well.
I think
Oh, you know
Copilot
what?
pointed
Yeah.
us in the right direction. We should
What's
give
happening?
it a default value. Probably.
Oh, that is also cool. But
What did you find out?
I think I went ahead with something that we're not supposed to do. I'm defining my own handle function. And I think we're getting the handle function from Hook Form.
Oh, wow.
So yeah,
Ah.
I just chucked in on handle form submit on here, but I think
Mhm.
they have form dot handle submit Um, okay, then I'm
Right.
wondering what onSubmit is. Oh, maybe that is my function now? It's like this.
I don't know.
Promise returning function provided to attribute where void returns was expected.
Form dot and submit on submit. What are you doing?
Maybe my function has to be async.
But we're not doing anything async yet, I think.
Yeah, that's true. Promise returning function provided to attribute where a void return was expected. Yeah, so I'm wondering where this onSubmit function comes from, I guess. Right? Like that's what we're looking for.
I think onSubmit is just what you called handle form submit.
Yes, right?
But it's not happy. So if you do that, it doesn't like it.
I mean, they are doing it. They're also defining their own onSubmit thing. Hmm.
It's also like it's just a linter error for now. Maybe we ignore it.
Let's see if
for
it
1
actually
second.
throws an error. So can we?
Let's see what happens now. New book.
I should probably add
Nice.
Oh, and it prevents the default action already. Like we didn't do that, for example.
Nice.
So maybe it's just like the typing I have on the onSubmit thing.
I think
Because
so.
because they don't accept the event. Like
Yeah.
right? Like you get values and then you're kind of inferring that of type form schema. So values, and where do I get form schema from?
That will be our
Import.
custom schema that we define with Zod.
Oh, we didn't do that yet.
That's the
All
part
right.
that's missing.
Cool. So can we tie together? Can we use our interface with Zod or,
Hmm.
I'm not sure. I mean, so I'm kind of happy with what we did now.
Yeah.
Doodle-doom. The next step would probably be to add form items, form fields for all the fields we have on a book.
For all the fields
Right?
we have. Exactly. So yeah, I think actually plugging together the form will be most of the work, and then saving it will be again just like 3 lines of code with Superbase. So that won't be the difficult part, I think. Getting the book into our service, that will be like a little bit more work, but yeah, I
All
guess we
right.
can do that next time, define our schema, and then continue to build our form.
Yes.
Nice.
And I think we ended the last video in a similar sense, saying we spent some time now on all of this framework stuff, right? Then again, we're doing this like I never worked with Shadcn before. And I don't know, I knew something about Hook Form, sure, and about Radix, but like this is like we wanted to surface the struggle that you will probably have when you work with this the first time. And this is all stuff that this is like you learn it once, right? Like this is all the
Yeah.
nuances of having the system, because like as soon as we find out in the next episode how to connect the schema of the form with the schema we have on the database and how to define a number input, then yeah, then we're done. And then we can have as many forms as we like all over the place, I suppose.
Exactly. And I guess typically you wouldn't be live streaming when doing that. So I think that's also
exactly.
yeah, we're talking a lot and commenting every error. So yeah.
Totally. I'm actually very happy with our progress because like all of this stuff, like I mean, we have production ready stuff in here, which is actually kind of cool. Like I'm hoping for this framework of Shadzian that it's something that we can use to be super quick about the prototyping, but that is stuff that you wouldn't have to yank out when you would like to continue developing this into a real thing, because that is
Yeah.
super production level things that just help us out. And it's very cool to learn them. Like the way that this works. I'm very interested in the Tailwind customization, of course,
Yeah.
but also like small stuff like how do we tell the dialogue to close as soon as the form submitted successfully, like
Yeah.
all this sort of thing. We're going to talk about that in the next episode.
Yes, we will. Cool.
Right on. Cool. Yeah. Then let's wrap it up here.
Yeah.
Using Shadcn to build out a form, and we have a beautifully opening dialogue and things like that. And that's very cool. All right.
Nice. Cool. Then see you next time.
See you next time. Ciao, Judith.